mare you see. This we can say as per the Upaman Praman, as per the Ayurveda. If we try to correlate with human beings, can we correlate with the personality and can we analyze on the basis of Ayurveda? And when we tried to analyze these two, two personalities, we can say how what at the initial story, beginning of the story, what we predict, what we anticipate, and at the end of it, totally different is outcome. So if any situation, this is just a representation of any event, but if we try at human level on the basis of personality and on the basis of Ayurveda, then we can say why this happens. So because uh, might be PG and all teachers are there, so they are knowing the in Charak Sanhita chapter Charak Vivan chapter 8 chapter, they have given very wonderful explanation based on the attributes. Due to Laghu, A character is possessing Lagutvat, Laghu Chapalagati Chesta Aharyaha. So they, yes, of course, it is being observed very crispness, very movements are very fast and furious. But on the contrary, in the same person, it is having Shigra, quickness. Shigratvat Shigrat Samarambha Shobha. Yes, of course, we anticipate on this basis, Lagutvat Laghu Chapalagati, so probably we anticipate that A character is going to win. But along with the Shigra character, that cannot be possible because it can initiate due to that property, but definitely it can surrender immediate after the next moment. So that is why we can say the strength of that personality is Lagutvat Laguchapalagati, but on the contrary, it is having weakness of Sigratvat Sigrit Samagamba Shobhavikaraha and vice versa same. Mandatvat Chesta Ahar Vyaharaha, but the weakness of that thing. But the strength is Sainitya Ashigrat Samarambha Shobhavikaraha. So this is what how these are the few things which we generally initiate to analyze any event or any personality on the basis of. And globally also, I think this SWOT analysis is a trend to analyze the things or the persons or the event or any corporate era. So we tried to analyze on this basis and the story, the small story which we seen the childhood is here. Also, we try to analyze on that basis. So these are the references where we can take it out. And again, if we try to observe on the basis of principles, definitely this is the supportive thing that nowhere Ayurveda uh, uh, believes on the principles, and Guruvati Guna principle is one of the biggest very authentic principle where we can analyze, and on that principle itself, Acharyas has critically explained or quote this references on in the Saratyanani chapter. Moving ahead, the importance or the significance why we need to understand it is again I appeal to each scholar from young to very matured scholars like you, people, scholars or practitioners. That it is just not the mere part of Prakriti, and many of the times as our diet is maximum people are taught Kriya Sharir, but we should not feel inferior that प्रकृति इज ऑफ क्रिया शारीर पार्ट एंड आप तो बस प्रकृति करते रहते हो बाकी कुछ नहीं करते बाकी आपके पास नहीं प्रकृति के अलावा for this answer is yes, of course, Prakriti is only the factor, and the rest of the factors, the rest of the dimensions are roam around this center point, that is Prakriti. So, whenever you go, wherever you go, um, at last you have to compare or you have to analyze or you have to test on the on these factors. And none other than if we observe this Prakriti factor, it is being explained in Rog Vishaya. So it is equally important in a scientific way and in a clinical aspect. Why? Because Arthur to Halu Karyadita, in same chapter they have explained as for the perspective of Vaidya practitioners, they should be considered as a Arthur or patient body. And that should be first analyzed. Why? Because Satya Pariksha Ayusha, because unless and until we are not aware of their आयु प्रमाण आयुषः प्रमाणः ज्ञानः हेत्वा स्यात् बल दोष प्रमाण. So we need to understand the bala either of the vyadhi or either of the rogi. Rogi, dosha praman. So this is what, again, this is second critic what we observed is in Ayurveda there is no quantification. All are subjective criteria. But if we feel this, yes, of course, everywhere they have quantified. And before initiating the principles on the applied and the scientific aspect, they have quantified each thing. And Prakriti is one of the parts. It is quantified, we can say. Then Karya Desha, with Karya Desha, why we need to select this as a Karya Desha? Because our first and foremost the responsibility to make the Dhatu Samya Dharaha. We need to understand the principle which is being quoted in Susi Sahita Samadosha Samamishya Samadhatu Malakriya. Whereas in Charak Samhita also Dosha Dhatu Malamula Shatira. So we need to understand and we should be able to interpret exact this principle while treating a person or while choosing any scientific question or anything. And then furthermore, they have explained Tadapuram. How we are going to explain? By this Vasali Sarita. And again, if we see, the Prakriti is the foremost. So I think everybody has no way to feel inferior. Yes, yes, we are working only on Prakriti, and that we don't have any topic to talk on besides Prakriti. I feel personally Prakriti is a center point. Like if we consider Earth as a center point, and the core area is of fire, and again that is being governed by Agni. Likewise, the Prakriti is assessment factor. Prakriti is center of uh, uh, area where we need to always stand concentrate on. So this is what my perspective is, and hope by this also you are motivated and encouraged to work on Prakriti. And uh, every time we have to go through the literature. So here, moving ahead, various in as I said, 90.99% of the time we concentrate on those proposals. But while coming ahead, there are n number of not n number of, but few number of properties as been explained. And furthermore, we can analyze or we can test it from the research. So, interrupted first, if you see Charak Samhita, the first observed is in Meghanadhare, the influences of dosha predominant at the time of conception besides mental and physical frame. As UG and PG is also knowing, Shikra is knowing Yogi, Yoga with dosha. So, yes, of course, this principle or this common code is everywhere. Um, accepted prominent dosha. Influence of predominant dosha is responsible in formation of Prakriti. Furthermore, in the Ashtaminditya Adhyay, genetic programming, hereditary points, genetics influence and observe. And while taking history also, my scholar or researcher or clinician must take this history and just not limit themselves history taking, history of, yes, father is having, mother is having, or their maternal or paternal history is having. It's not that so. That we need to consider whether is this factor is equally contributing during the Prakriti formation. And if that maternal or paternal factor is influencing in disease formation or further, or the person's own genetic uh, programming is responsible in disease generation or prognosis or diagnostic criteria of the disease. So likewise, we can interpret or we can analyze this factor. Moving ahead in Sharir's term, they have explained that the own constitution controlled by the its own physiology. As we are commonly knowing, gross answer is explained by each scholar is influenced those at the time of conception. But along with that, and another factor is collaterally is dosha dhatu, or moreover, more we concentrate on rather than dhatu is dosha. So we need to understand in between these two whether the Prakriti is solely responsible or the rest of the three doshas which are being generated, they are all there generated during Avasthapak or Sukshma Stulapachan or Sukshmapachan, because they are controlled. Main factors, controlling factors are these three doshas, and they are also equally responsible in Prakriti formation. So we need to again, we should able to differentiate this. Again, here the next in upcoming slide, the reference is going to come, that is Prakriti Bheti Adhyay in Ashtang Sangrama, where it is given very clearly about this dosha, that while during at the time of Prakriti formation, Prakruti dosha is going to be there. So they are not going to change anything. They would be there. That they are there for the lifetime. But it is not that so. And by default, the influence of either the dosha or the combination of these two or either three of they that factor is going to be there definitely. But on the contrary, the Vaipruta doshas are there where are controlling this factor. And on this principle, I personally feel we can design lifestyle of a person. So this is again the biggest area or research avenue or area where we can work upon, like as a lifestyle counselor. This is again one encouraging point for us where we can think at the minute, amsha kalpana, and we can proceed for the next step. As minute we think, as precise we can work, or we can design, or we can customize the lifestyle of the person. Then Atulya goes through that, and again this is uh, being universally adapted along with this, that which we, in whether the marriage of the same family or not, and the consequences of the same family marriages is facing upon, and few communities are facing the same. So you might have knowing these races and families. So I will not quote on. So moving ahead with this, Charakterita Vimansan, as we are all knowing and very all over, this chapter is being recited by the scholars of Kriya and PhD scholars. Moving ahead with the Sushit Sahita Stan, Garbha Vyaparan Abhyas, they have explained very well. And where in this line in Charak Sanhita, where we have control, we have talked about they do have their own constitution, which is not going to change. But definitely on the contrary, the Tridoshas are only the thing which are going to control their homeostasis. So we need to understand, we need to feel this gap in between and bridge it with the lifestyle management. And why, as again in previous, yes, of course, there would be, by the Takrut dosha itself, there would be influence of either the dosha or the both or price. Not an issue. It is going to be there because in upcoming slides we are going to see why it happens so why there will be list chances of some prakriti we will see. But yes, of course, 90.99% either this is going to happen of influence or dominance or predominance, whatever it is. And then most of the time it explains why they are not then vitiating person's body. Then in Sarita it explains so that which is appear as bitter. Yes, of course, the insect born with bitter poison, but it is not going to influence because it is a part and parcel of that person, and moreover it is important in maintaining homeostasis. Somewhere that poison is important to maintain the physiology of that person. So likewise, in the same pattern, although there is a dominance of any person, it is important to maintain the physiology of that person along with the other factors like three dosha, which are in the form of Vaisru, then Dhatu, then Mala, and whatnot. And again, it is related to other factors like which in day-to-day life, what we are following, Dinacharya, Ruticharya, and rest of the things. So likewise, we need to really, uh, we need to develop that diversity amongst us. That's how we can correlate and how that balance can be made in between the person and substance. So Sushrup again explained about Panchamahabhut, uh, according to Panchamahabhut. Yes, of course, as we said, it is Gurvadi Guna. There is nothing beyond Gurvadi Guna. Likewise, in Ayurveda, whatever the things we consider on the basis of Panchamahabhuta, these are the main elements of body, and then why not Prakriti? So it is by default Prakriti. And another important part which is being considered as a specialty, I usually ask this question to BG and PG students, अनुपत्व किसका specialty है बताओ, किसने बताया है, and how it is being explained. So Prakriti is Anupatva, and where these Anupatva as compared with the animal and birds and deity. And with this small thought process, I took up that story of animals, uh, turtle and rabbit, to explain the uh, SWOT analysis, which is being already explained in Ayurveda building this. So Ashtanga again, Aisha Prakriti is individuality. That yes, of course, I can resemble the similarity up to 99% can be with my mother, but I am Sarita is Sarita and Sakundara. So this is what the difference is. Although it is any person is similar, but cannot be the same. So likewise, we should not consider as a whole. Like we cannot again for the clinicians particularly, we should not think on the efficacy of drug, but rather beyond that, how that efficacy of a drug is specific to the prakriti. Like we can say Phalatrikadi group, Phalatrikadi Kashayam. Yes, of course, it is the chapter of strumming. But on the contrary, we need to see whether it is suitable in Pitta Prakriti or not. And many of the times we observe people or the persons who are suffering from the diabetes having this problem. They cannot bear that Phalatrika Vinatra or that thing. So during that period, this Prakriti assessment plays an important role. And we need to understand every time we need to take in consideration this one. Okay. Then moving ahead, they have explained in the same chapter three types. We are all knowing till now. Again, this is what my favorite question to UG, PGs and scholars. Many of the times, students say always, as we are all time but with only three dosha faculty, three dosha faculty. But these are also Hina, Madhyama and Uttam Prakriti that we should not forget about it. Now, my question is to all, we will discuss at the end of this session, whether this Prakriti, Hina, Madhyama, Uttama should be considered within the group or in between the group. Like the straightaway question is Hina. Like Vata, Pitta and Kapha is again we are going to analyze on these three categories, or else Vata is Hina, Pitta is Madhyama and Kapha is Uttama. So I need to discuss on this platform with you all. So kindly guide me at the end of the session. Now moving ahead, Ashtangabhen, Sarita, uh, features, enumeration of the body features, uh, internal as well as external aspects. So what we can say is where nowadays a lot of work is going on, research is going on, and it is being characterized or divided according to physical, physiological, psychological, and social. So in short term, we can categorize, or we can, for better understand, we can uh, classify these domains like in physical or anatomical, then psychological, likewise. Okay, and this resulting into those of Prakriti. Again, as I said, there is no big theories beyond this three beyond these principles based on, है ना. और कहाँ पे भी जाओ आपको त्रिदोष मिलेंगे, सप्तधातु मिलेंगे, मल मिलेंगे, आत्मा मिलेगा, इंद्रिय मिलेंगे, and पंचमहाभूत मिलेंगे, गुरुवादी मिलेंगे. So this is what our principles where we should keep on other on. Then Prakriti Bhedya Adhyay, where we talked about classified according to Prakriti Bhedya 7. So Prakriti Studies Swarup, we had discussed during this literature review already that it is not going to change. It would be there till the lifetime. And in this chapter, Prakriti Bhedya Adhyay chapter itself, in Prakruta, while forming Prakriti, during Prakriti formation, those are involved. Those are Prakriti dosha. And if Prakriti is changed, then the person has to think of Kriya. अब तो ठीक नहीं है मामला. So like that. So ये भी श्लोक we our students mandatory to recite from the Vaisheshik Krishna. जन्म मरणांतराल भाविनी गर्भावक्रांति समय स्व कारणोद्रेक जनिता निर्विकामनी दोषस्थिति. Yes, of course, meaning is very clear. At the time of birth जो भी दोष उत्पन्न होगा, डोमिनेंस होगा, लेकिन it is not going to hamper anywhere to that particular person. It's called as in the same way. Now here, first in this slide, we discussed upon, we are going to talk on this. Prakriti, we are going to talk on this type, Hina, Madhyama, and Uttama. So this reference is there. If we are talking about Hina, is Vata, Pitta is Madhyama. Then the last line makes our concentration that Vata Ladya Sudhasara. Doshanu Sarita Hesham, Deva Prakriti, Uchata. So whatever it is going to be there. And they are going to uh, make the people atura or is going to influence the Vaikruta dosha, and ultimately Vaikruta dosha is going to lead to Vyadhi. So again, this is the point where we can work on, or the point of that we can start. Alright. Then Prakriti Nirman Prakriya, how did it form? So this only is a yoga with dosha again. Okay. So the prominent dosha is there. So Prakriti is likewise. But which dosha is going to be dominant, how it is being going to decided. So it is depending upon these four factors, Sukrishoni Prakriti, as like mother or as like father. So yes, of course, the dominant part is there that is going to be influenced, but not only the mother or father uh, uh, sperm on over, but along with the Kala Garbhashaya Prakriti, then Atura, Ahara Vihara Prakriti, and Mahabhuta Vikasa Prakriti. So these are the four factors which are going to influence, which are going to decide, or on which basis the dosha utkatata is going to be decided. So if uh, ahar vihar is going to be vata, although Shukra Sonic is of proper Prakriti, then it is going to influence offspring or Garbha Prakriti. So likewise, again, in India, in few part of the country, there is a trend to take a history, birth history, and along with the Matruja and the Pitruja Prakriti and their history as well. So this is again one research area of interest. See, we can analyze just a person's Prakriti and what is the kal of during that Prakriti, and what is the Matruja Aharu, what is the Matruja Prakriti, and what was the father's Prakriti, and what was their mentality during the conception, what was the diet before and during the conception, so that we can Karya Karan, on the basic principle of Karya Karan, we can think on. So these are the factors which are responsible. See, we can see the relays, we can see that chart, like Prakriti Nirma, yes, dosha, influencing dosha. But how this dosha is going to be decided on the ahara vihara, on the matrixity division, etc., etc. And then what are the components? Those are the responsible. These are the components. Pitrus, Matal Pitrus, Matal Ahar, Pitrus Vihar, Garbhashaya, and then Garbhadharan Kal, period of conception, and then the Bija dosha. So likewise, this area is only the is also can be the biggest area of research. Then types of Prakriti, as we are all knowing, Doshis Prakriti, Panchavati Prakriti, Gunamaya Prakriti, Jastati Prakriti, and Vaya and Valamya Prakriti, like that. तो अगेन त्रिदोष के ऊपर तो बहुत सारा काम हुआ है, लेकिन पांचवती गुणमय के ऊपर काम चल रहा है, जात्यादि और कुलनियत के ऊपर काम होना बाकी है, where we can also work on. So these are Sattva Prakriti, these are Panchavati Prakriti, these are Sattva, Sattva के वापस seven types है, then राजसिक के भी 7 टाइप्स है, तामसिक के भी 7 पॉइंट्स हैं, 7 types है. These are the Jatyadi Prakriti, Jati, Kulanya, Deshanya, Chalanya, Playanya, Upalanya. So these are the points where we can discuss on. आगे बढ़ सकते. So this is what the picture is very common. Vata Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti and Kapha Prakriti. Vata Prakriti we can find very easily and where the jaw joints are prominent. Pitta Prakriti is very delicate, beautiful, and Kapha Prakriti robust as like they are doing exercise and uh, muscular exercise. Now this is what the shloka very commonly and very famous, and we ask to generally the students to decide इसके बिना मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. I think teachers are there and they are very agree with my statement कि ये करके आओ तभी जर्नल के ऊपर साइन मिलेगा, ये करके आओ तभी असाइनमेंट पे साइन मिलेगा. और उसके बाद भी बच्चे नहीं करते हैं तो हम उनको वाइवा में बिठाते हैं, जाओ ये श्लोका करके आओ. So let us see how why we made to so, and if any UG student is joined, then they can understand why we made it mandate to you during exams and throughout your life. Because see here the first slide, and during this upcoming session we will see how we can assess it. As in Ayurveda, there are mainly three pariksha are there: Parshana, Parshana, and Prashanagi pariksha. These are the main three criteria where we can examine or we can assess all the factors. Again, as I say, अब इसके बाद में कुछ है ही नहीं. If we correlate with the modern science like inspection, palpation, perception and auscultation, इसको भी अगर हम वापस कैटेगराइज करें तो दे आर all comes under the Darshana, Sparshana and Prashanagi Pariksha section. So that is why we need to give big hat off to our Ayurveda. So let us know with this. First line itself suggests on the basis of Gurvati, they have found the data likewise. You just cannot think or you cannot find any other characteristics beyond this. All can be included likewise. Then how you can assess this characteristics? Satya Raukshada Asala, due to Rakshagun there would be dryness. So likewise, or credit goes to all teachers and students as they decide to make it in a pictorial form. So Ruksha Sharir's body, you can see by observing, by darshan, by sparshan, and by prashanagi pariksha. So apachit, malnourished, and short body. Their structure we can by the observation itself we can find out yes it is not the normal below. Then Prakriti Ruksha Shamasanna Sapta dry. Voice coming from the deep inside, nasal noise. So like voice, the sound classification, segregation is done of Vata Prakriti due to this dry property. So this dry property is going to not only influence on the skin or any body part, but definitely to the voice also. So whenever there is a voice part, we can rule out it due to which reason it is there, due to Prakriti or any other pathological form. Then Lagutva. And due to Lagu, there is Lagutvat, Lagu Chapalagati Cheta, Hara, Haraha. So fast talking, Vyahara is fast talking, fast eating, fast everything, whatever they do, they will do very fast, 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 fast. Like I used to do example of Charlie Chaplin. Then Salatvat, Anavat, Vitagati. Like if we see their gait and structure, it is asymmetrical. Here in this picture you can see the prominent bony marks or surface marking is not at equal level. They are asymmetrical, disproportionate. So likewise we can assess. Here also we can see the jaw line is not Symmetrical, asymmetrical, shoulders, not symmetrical, asymmetrical. So we need to find out whether it is of Prakriti part or due to any pathological reason. Body, veins, and predominance. So likewise, all teachers are joined every year. So by this method, we need to encourage all our scholars to develop their vision, observation. We can ask them to bring out the photographs. They do have handy कैमरा हाँ मोबाइल में आपको लगा फोटो ले लो आज 10 फोटो हाथ के ले लो आज 10 फोटो के ले लो 10 फोटो अब standing posture में ले लो likewise we can do and we can discuss on this various aspects like शीघ्रत्वात् शीघ्र समारंभ शोभा विकारा in initial picture with the example at what we started with this is what the same explanation is and again Shruta also Sutayasha many of the this is what again the strong point of the person. Shruta they are quick graspers, but they do have this weakness. Shrutayasya. So this is what the area where we can work upon. If the person is good listener, if they catches well but unable to sustain, then we can help them out. कि भाई तेरा ऐसा ऐसा इश्यू है तो इसको हम ऐसे ऐसे कर सकते हैं. What you can do? Then of course in Ayurveda, other with mantra chikitsa is there, recitation is there, frequency is there. We need to encourage them to go on, work on, work on, work on, work on, rather than giving up the situation. So likewise, we can modify their lifestyle, isn't it? Uh, so this is what the few pictures we have collected on short memory. Then you can motivate them. Go, yes, आपको ये होगा ही. So no notice need to worry. You have to take efforts in this way. Or again, I would like to go beyond further that with this uh, point like Rasayan Chikitsa, Medhya Rasayan. And yes, of course, it is going on. Like Gogruta is also works as a Rasayan, Medhya. So likewise, these are the areas where we have to work. We need to find out. Whether it's Saityatashitasarinavaha, Prakatasusapodvai, Papasambhasha. So they are going to suffer from it. So we need to find out whether that Shita Kodve cramp is due to Prakriti or any climate or any other thing. So we need to find out and we need to design their lifestyle in such a way and we have to prepare their mind. Yes, ये होगा. मेरे some of the people always come with this. ये मेरे साथ ही क्यों होता है मुझे ही क्यों होता है. So this is another way where we can explain them. परिचार है ना. तो ये मॉइस्चराइजर लगाओ हेयर स्पा कराओ आपको करना पड़ेगा लाइक यू हैव टू तो ब्रिटलिंग स्मेल यस immediately we say कि calcium deficiency है ये है वो है but of course we can proceed beyond that also. So what this thing? If a person now here Sutitanga Vayavaha, here Sutitanga Vayavaha, yes, they are going to tend towards. Then in as soon as you analyze this properties of water dominant personality, we can ask them why to take के तब नहीं बैठना है. तभी तुझे फायदा होगा नहीं so you should not. Because now again there is a trend, people or young generation is avoiding तो हैविंग फिगर नहीं पिंपल्स आ जाएंगे फैट बढ़ जाएगा ये हो जाएगा कोलेस्ट्रॉल हो जाएगा तो इट्स दैट शुड नॉट बी टेंडेंसी टू मूव फॉरवर्ड बट रादर वी नीड टू एनकरेज ऑन दिस प्रिंसिपल कि भाई अगर तू नहीं लेगा तो तुझे क्या प्रॉब्लम होगा तो ये अवॉइड करने के लिए यू हैव टू अडॉप्ट दिस सिस्टम so likewise the same Chitta also we have gathered Bhavan ke Uchana Mukha now in Delhi Chitta Prakriti are more more there. And Vata Prakriti is also going to suffer, Kapha Prakriti is also going to suffer. Then how we are going to analyze? Oh, ये दिल्ली के गर्मी में कौन रहेगा? Then vice versa, we can analyze, we can interrogate, we can interview that after getting in suitable area, in how much time you can recover. If you recover as early as possible, then of course you are not of Pitta Prakriti. And if it takes a little bit time, then you are of Pitta Prakriti. So likewise, positive responses and negative responses as well we have to think of. Where the principle says according to principle, Upachaya, Anupachaya. So likewise, Sukumara, Udasaka. These are the few pictures that we have collected for the better understanding. Shuktipasavantaha. Now again the same thing, गर्मी में पानी तो पिएगा ही पेशेंट बोलते हैं लोग भाई अभी तो इतनी गर्मी है पानी तो जाएगा ही जाएगा. ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम वी नीड टू मॉडिफाई अवर फूड कि आप क्या गर्मी के अलावा भी पानी पीते हैं, आपके साथ पानी की बॉटल हमेशा रहती है, अगर पानी साथ में नहीं रहता है तो डू यू फील रेस्टलेस. So this is our responsibility to make the expected answers from the people. If people are not giving, then from the relatives or then from the best friends. So likewise. So this is what the slides we have collected. You can go through and share this PPT with the audience. Mistratvat. Again, few of the this is again most predominantly what I have seen is लोग दिस इज अ ट्रेंड ओके कोई बात नहीं कि हमें एक ये रहता है कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रहता है कि हम हमें कुछ स्मेल ना आ जाए ये ना आ जाए इसीलिए बट फ्यू पीपल आर देयर जिनका एक टिपिकल पर्टिकुलर स्मेल आता है. तो हम स्वास्थ्य moving ahead with the Prakriti. Shleshma is the again on the same parameter. Snehat, Shleshmalaha, Siddhangaha, oily body. They no need any time. Thandi ke season maybe they will require very less of the moisturizer. So likewise, negative comments or negative responses are also equally important. Very delicate. उनको ज्यादा कुछ करना नहीं पड़ता है माधुर्य. This is again the thing how nowadays how we can assist this Prabhupada Shukra Vyavaya Satya. So we need to find out the solution for such things. We need to come up with the solutions as well. So we will discuss that also. Many of the and scholars ask the Prabhupada Shukra Vyavaya Satya how we are going to assist. Particularly male, particularly in female. Then again, my question is to all whether this Sara Parikshan, Prakriti Purusha Lakshanas are mainly of male dominance or it is not gender based or gender thing. So that we will second agenda we will look at today. Then Sandra Upachita Puru Paripurna, they will not like asymmetrical, very symmetrical. आप कहाँ पे भी कौन सा भी measurement लो, that will be bilaterally fixed. Nandacheshta Ahara Vyahara. Many of the times, many of the scholars do perceive this like Vyahara, Vyavahara. In books also, in few of the books also, the printing mistake is there. It is not Vyavahara. Daily routine or what they behave is not there. Vyahara, it means the thought, how they express their speech, either in slow mode, either in fast mode, whether that tempo is equal, whether it is very aggressive, very slow. So likewise we have to observe. This is how we can ask the students to take a video on the person and compare again in between the group. Oshigra. Again, this is what the example was we have talked about. Also, the character E is what we felt is going to lose the race, but due to Sainitya, it is going to be there and it will not give up that way. And due to that quality, it could able to win the race. Parvati Adishit Avastitagatayaha. Very, like I usually give the example of Armenians. Very, if they sit very properly with the discipline, of course. So again, this is what the area is. See, whether it is due to discipline and due to mandate or really. And again, this is how we can uh, interpret and concept the data and analyze the data. So Alpakshita, Alpatrishna, Alpasandapa, definitely exact opposite to the system. Joints इनके कभी दिखते ही नहीं है and very covered with the covered with the heart. This is what the big example. प्रसन्न वर्ण स्वराश्च, इनके बिना दूसरा आवाज आता है, मतलब तुम दूसरा इमेज मिला ही नहीं, या आई कुडंट एबल टू कंपेयर. लता मंगेशकर जी का आवाज है प्रसन्न वर्ण स्वराश्च के लिए. बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल. You might have concept another one. This is again one lacuna in Ayurveda where there is no statement of agreement. So this is again the third point where we can discuss on. We can share a few point of few signs for the discussion. Then importance of Prakriti Parikshan, as initially itself we had discussed upon Roga Rogi Pariksha. During this Roga Pariksha, Rogi Pariksha we have to think of, because if the bala is less of that person, like example we had discussed priorly itself, Pitta Prakriti, and if we are giving Phalatrikadi with the maximum dose, then it is not going to work. Although the diabetes or although the prameha is at high level, you cannot. Rather than it will affect the patient's health. They will lead into another problem. So this is what the statement is. Then patient condition may deteriorate and even lead to death of the patient. So that is why we need to understand the bala of a person or a rogi, and this bala must be assessed on this Dasharita Pariksha. Then in Charak Viman, 60th chapter, it is given Patal Purush. They are going to have, if they consume Vata Prakopa diet, or go for the exercise or excessive fasting, or late night sleeps, or jagran, they are not, then definitely they will suffer. So here again one applied aspect we can think of. Those who are of Vata Prakriti, then we can decide, or we can ask them, as we are the responsible for their healthy life, so we can send them to avoid रात्र उजागरण. जो नाइट की जॉब्स है, कॉल सेंटर के जॉब्स है, जो नाइट में चलते हैं, गार्ड की ड्यूटी है, वो रात को ना करें. और अगर उनको करना ही है तो दे हैव टू फॉलो देयर ओन लाइफस्टाइल to avoid or to face the complications or to face the early diseases. So likewise, probable diseases. Water की व्याधि तो है ही, but along with some valavros, likewise, or intolerance to the cold, they may suffer. And these are the few things in pictorial, what they can have or what they can avoid. That pictures are upcoming, so I'll just move in this slide. Okay. They have to what they can adapt, how we can. These are the principles where you can go through, and again minutely you can modify as per the person's personality, or this is just of vata. But if anubandha dosha is there, pitta or kapha, then again you have to smartly plan their life, or custom their lifestyle. Abhyanga, Mardana, Parisheka, Avagaha, Snehapan. So likewise, in Upakramaniya Adhyay, it is being all given. then what they should not do, as they do have tendency to act very fastly and very quickly, then we have to ask them to control, have a control on it. Yes, of course, it would be there, but have a control on it. If it is working as a weakness, but if it is working as a strong, like in athletes, you have to, like if your profession is sports and you have to give your best to the athlete, हाँ, आपको जाना है, so there would be your strongest, the person's strongest point, but it should not equally hamper the health of a person or the tendency to manage their life by the this upakrama. So yes, of course, they can use it as a strong point, but equally they have to manage. Or this is what they have to consume daily basis. Uh, then Pittala Purush equally consumes things which aggravate Pitta, they should avoid it. And of course, they have to be prepared for Kshipravalli, Kshiprapalitya, Kshiprathalitya, Daha, Mursha. So they have to work accordingly. They have to modify their lifestyle. Then do's and don'ts, physical Prakriti. तो उन्हें मधुर पित्त कषाय शीत का सेवन करना चाहिए, सर्दी पानी घृत करना चाहिए क्योंकि घृत पित्त शामक है. So likewise, we can go for Krodha. If, yes, of course, they are going to be face Krodha, but we have to work accordingly. So likewise, they can go for milk, pomegranate, agla, uh, unhealthy, they should avoid chili, fried chili or fermented items or like which are going to again most aggravate the rest of the things. So likewise, Vaishnav, well-being, how we are going to maintain their psychological well-being of the Prakriti or physiological well-being of the person. So we can ask them to avoid uh, Madhura Andalata. Yes, if we are knowing this person is of belongs to Kapha Prakriti, Kapha dominance is there, and in family history is also there. He genetically प्रमेह की हिस्ट्री मिल रही है, and मोर ओवर द पर्सन इज लाइक टू हैव मधुर, खाने के बाद बहुत पसंद है, खाने के पहले बहुत पसंद है. तो वी नीड टू वी नीड टू सेंसिटाइज पर्सन कि आपके लिए ये हानिकारक है, खाने के बाद कुछ मीठा हो जाए उनके लिए सही नहीं है, इज नॉट गुड. So and as they do have tendency to deposit maximum fat, muscle mass, then they have to work on exercise. And yes, of course, these people can do jagran because we are enforcing them to do jagran, whereas in Mata Prakriti, we are not allowing them. So likewise, we can do honey, lekhanwa, shunki, bajra. So likewise, such you can ask to your scholars to collect this aharya dravya. It is available in uh, various books. Mhm. So this is what we had discussed previously. Now here, generally we talk on this ahara and vihara. Now moving ahead to the next step, I would like to share this new fact of this era is maximum people or maximum population is spending time at professional place of job or at job place, isn't it? Hope you agree. Irrespective of gender, equal. Now there is equal opportunity in each sector, in each domain to show their strength and to explore themselves. So again, we need to identify whether our Prakriti model is going to fit for the better success along with the better health life, health. Because as we are just whenever we discuss among ourselves, among colleagues, among family, what we find a one word is very highlighting, that is stress. Stress, ये stress है, वो stress है, वो stress है. But yes, of course, I agree. Uh, we are at the era of competition, and all the time we need to prove ourselves at better extent. है ना, हमें बॉस को भी दिखाना नहीं है, हमारे सबऑर्डिनेट्स को भी हमें संभाल के लेके जाना है. So we feel somewhere stressed, and that is why I started with a story. See, आपको, if you are not fit, if your character, if your psychological mindset, if your physiological physiological set is not fit into that area, then yes, of course, the external environment is going to convert in the form of stress. And that is why the few theories in European countries is conducted and still going on this model since 1978 to specify the conditions under which people are satisfied. So here, one very good. I agree. The employer factor is very important, but 50% is equally important factor of that employee, or rather, I would say a person or that person's personality, how the person is going to take that event at personal level, and that is why the on this model these core dimensions were recorded, then psychological status were recorded, and on this aspects or assessment criteria the outcome were measured. So this is what the new things where we could work on, where in core dimensions they could able to assess the skill work. Like in first story we have seen, yes, they do have skill. One character A is having skill of quickness and doing fast activities, but whereas the strength was not good of continuing that task. That is task identity, task significant. That task, whether it is significant or not, कि मुझे करना है नहीं करना. So likewise, and the meaningfulness of work, whether that person, whether that employee, whether that personality trait is taking it seriously or not seriously. So this is what the things are, and likewise it was taken, and the measured outcome was high intrinsic motivation. Because it is very important in work area, as I said, the maximum time we spend is at various places. And if that motivation, encouragement, performance, and satisfaction is not there, then that external environment is going to influence on that person's psychology, and ultimately, as again our Ayurveda says, the Sharir and Manas, Nija and Agal to reason. And definitely that vicious circle is going to start of that a particular person. So this has to be tested. The personality of a person, strengths of a person, weaknesses of a person, and which task that is going to touch very smoothly without telling yes, I'm feeling stress, I'm feeling stress. But on the other hand, the other people may enjoy it. So this is what the duty is, and this is our again sole responsibility. जैसे हम अब आहार के ऊपर अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, and we are getting familiar at global layer, बिहार के साथ हम काम कर रहे हैं, do's and don'ts के साथ. Equally, in HR section, in corporate section, we need to inculcate this Prakriti concept so that we can identify the positive, on the basis of Prakriti. And here again, again I would like to ask what the second question, second thing, whether our Prakriti is जेंडर स्पेसिफिक जो दिया गया है वो सिर्फ मेल के बारे में बताया गया है या ऑल इक्वल पॉपुलेशन को करके बताया गया है. Please respond me wherever and wherever possible. Okay. Then people's tendency to experience positive or negative emotions accounts for the visual different job in satisfaction as what we decided. Some may feel very stressed, some may enjoy. We need to identify. Personality traits remain largely stable over the time. They are not going to change. But yes, of course, we can do it with the job. क्योंकि job हम change कर सकते हैं. So likewise, we can change that. In the same way, on the Guruvadi principle, we can make it differentiate it as a macro level, as on the micro level. Macro level, we can differentiate as a organization level, where we cannot change the policy or the external environment. Where we can work on micro level, where the time comes to task or any teamwork, there we can work on. With this example, like leadership plays an important role, and those who are the leaders, isn't it? So likewise, we can think of. So these are the various theories, and again, let us analyze competition and success in the form of health. So consistency, if we see the consistency, honesty, determination, and hard work, this was there in character B, and that is why it could be able to achieve the success. So this is what the things are. Now Prakriti dimensions are there, where we can work on various aspects. These we are generally think of physical, social, psychological, physiological, but economical and spiritual also can be add on. These are the few validated tools. University level, they do have their own templates for UG and PG. Like CCRS very commonly used, IGID very commonly used, IUSOF, it's still some hurdles are there, but it is used, and some weightage-based researchers tools are also available, and clinical also. This is what how it goes on, and we segregate according to this. So this is what the last I would like to convey today's session, that till now we agreed Prakriti contributes in maintaining health, making correct diagnosis or prognosis of the person. But moreover, we need to expand our thought to genomics, which is recently again going on, और फिर बाद में ऐसा ना हो कि अरे ये तो हमारे इधर पहले ही बताया है. This is the exact time where we have to take a step ahead aggressively and progressively as well. Need to search its applied utility in present era. Like as I said, example with first job or profession, then in sports we can work on in education, in building personalities, etc. So observe yourself, make master plans to remain healthy and successful. And on this platform, I would like to thank Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, Sharir Kriya Sambhasha, National Committee members of Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, Director Ma'am, All India Institute of Ayurveda, all my guides, teachers, and scholars who helped me in preparing this slides and this session. If anything, you are we should ask. And if any area to develop or scope to object this, you are please welcome. Yes, to the Rashi, Dr. Rashi. Namaste, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing detailed and valuable information for Prakriti. And I would like to appreciate the sincere efforts from the side of madam for pictorial presentation of ancient text of Prakriti. From the side of audience, I would like to ask if someone has any queries. So this is the time for question answer session in this Sambhasha. Anybody is having any query, you can unmute your mic and please ask if any query if you have. Dr. Nibha Sharma is there. You may unmute yourself, Miss Nibha.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, it would be really kind of you if you could share that one slide of that theories. 5-6 slides back, there was a slide of various theories she was suggesting.
About profession, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any more questions from the side of participants?
Madam, good afternoon. Very nice presentation. I am Dr. Harsha from Tirupati SV Ayurvedic Medical College, Department of Panchakarma. Madam, what you have showed all the pictorial demo regarding Prakriti is very nice. Vata Pitta Kapha wise don'ts you have kept. And the pictorial also, some of the medications or habits and all the things. But what about the Dwandaja? If madam has kept in the same manner, it could have more because most of the Prakritis, it is association with Vata Pitta or Vata Kapha, or even the disease also is coming as such. If it is, we are expecting such a presentation in next episode.
Yes, sir. Sure. Actually, now, sir, this is what also actually I had to discuss. I had come up with this query. Like I raised myself few of the queries in front of the audience, like Uttama Madhyama Hina or this. Second query is about to ask like Vata Prakriti, Vata Ekadoshaja Prakriti, Dvandvaja Prakriti, or Sama Prakriti. So, likewise, many of the times it is biggest part of discussion whether Ekal Prakriti is observed or not. If observed, then what is the prevalence rate? And 99 points or 90% of the times, as you said, is very correctly that the 90% of the times that you said correctly that Dvandvaja Prakriti are observed. Its prevalence rate is high in population right now. And whereas as a Sama Prakriti, it is less. Is it? Correct. I agree. Now this is what as you said, you expect how we have to work or how we can or it is your humble request to come with the Dvandvaja Prakriti. But here I would like to say, sir, the principles are given by the Acharyas on the Ekala Prakriti, Vatala, Pittala, Kapala, Shleshmala. Then I would like to say, if we see the permutation of combination is very difficult to understand. And again, as I said, it is as again I said, it is the lacuna of a expert that we cannot make on the same agreement. Like if I assess a person, it may be different prakriti, and if you assess a same person, you may find a different prakriti. But yes, of course, we try to work on as like if a person is a vata and pitta prakriti, so we need to identify whether which gunas are predominant of a vata prakriti and of a vata dosh and pitta dosh predominant. So likewise, likewise, there are a lot. If we try to make out a table, master chart, so that permutation combination rate will be very high. So few of the points we can discuss on.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. If we adopt the gunas in this category, that is ultimate, madam. That's what
हाँ, that is what. उसके भी
every clinician is required.
उसके अलावा कुछ है ही नहीं. That's what I said, sir.
Yes, yes, madam.
एक जगह पे हम उसको
And
weakness बोल रहे हैं,
also,
उसी जगह पे
if
strong
we
है.
check the nadi and all, also it would have better diagnostic methods will become.
Yes.
Nice
Yes, sir,
discussion, madam. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, as and ma'am said is to kindly share this slides and a few principles. So this is what the dispositional approach, where the tendency of a person's group's tendency is being examined, where the positive and negative emotions are being calculated, and on that basis their satisfaction can be calculated. This is one of the theory which being set forwarded or put forwarded by the top. And again they have talked about the core self evaluation model. So here we can see that this model they have explained on the basis of individual's attributes. That is what we can grossly, I'm not sure, but grossly on SWOT analysis, which theory is being forwarded by Durham in 1998. Moving ahead with this, that which I tried to correlate this last one, core self-evaluation model based on the attributes along with this Gurvadi Guna at organizational, that is at macro and micro level. And with this example, like with the Prakriti, they can have, they do have courage, but they are Sukumara. Whereas Kapha Prakriti, they do have dense and dense nature, continuity to do continue tasks there. So likewise, but on the contrary, if a person, as Sir said, is Dvandvaja Prakriti, yes, of course, there is 100% possibility that this Prakriti is going to accompanied by other dosha. Then if there is Vata dosh, let us consider Kapha Prakriti along with the Vata Prakriti. And unfortunately, Vata Prakriti is having Tatra Shigra Samarambha Kshobha Vikaraha. Yes, of course, with the property of Kapha dosha, they do have that work to do, but they will take that work. But on the contrary, that Vata Prakriti quality, which is going to overcome, and that give up nature would be there into the same personality. So this is the matured thought of the expert to analyze perfectly if which quality is predominant rather than dosha. दोष तो है ही, लेकिन दोष में भी कुछ which quality, which guna is there, and which due to that guna, which effect is going to be work, effect would be there, and what is your task to complete it, what you have to get done from that personality. So likewise, that mapping we can make at HR level. Then equity theory, as we said, yes, the continuous assessment should be there, give and take relation should be there, and employee-employer relation should be there, and employee should not always blame to the employer, or employer should not exploit all the time to the employee. So that equity theory should be considered. Yes, things are considered. And then social information processing theory, as our self in Ayurveda itself, the social component is explained by the Acharya itself, Sushrutacharya, Vagbhadacharya, and Charakacharya is also explained since uh, 1954 they have worked on, and how they feel, how they react to the external environment. Likewise, this theory explains on. Hopefully, I uh,
Yeah,
justified
conveyed
your
very.
question.
You conveyed very nice, madam. Because as your thoughts, so many experts also regarding Prakriti as a symposium like that, and we could have prepare one better note of for a clinical assessments purpose.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Any more questions from the side of participants? I think there is no query left from the side of audience. Thank you, ma'am, for wonderful lecture. Huge explanations were made from your side, and significantly, audience are satisfied from their side also. Thank you, ma'am, once again. I would like to invite Dr. Ashish Sharma ji for vote of thanks for today's expert speaker, Dr. Sarita Ohol, madam. Dr. Ashish Sharma ji.
I am on traveling. First of all, very thanks to Professor Saita ma'am for a nice and explanative presentation on the subject of Prakriti. And most of the queries occurs by the audience. They present nicely explanation. I think we have much more expectations or much more area of Prakriti like genotype and phenotypic explanation where further we have space to work. After that, I thanks to all the committee members or Vishwari Parishad family and best of luck for next program. I am on the traveling, so I have learned a little bit much. Thanks and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish, that you have given a next topic. You have assigned a small hint to us that next session could be on genotyping and phenotyping. I purposely left behind this because I came to know UG students, PG, and all are there. So I tried to take up that point from the start. Like you can see, you might have seen the syllabus given in CCAN that I quoted and started. But gradually, definitely, I promise in upcoming sessions I will touch on this genotyping and phenotyping as well as per your request.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashish Sharma. I would like to invite Dr. Sivan Saurav sir, who is an extreme dynamic personality in our team, for Shanti Mantra.
Thank you, Dr. Asi. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanti, Ma Kaschit Dukbhag Bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.